Miramar. I'm Commissioner Avril CHERASARD, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Commission Corner. Today we're talking all things code compliance. We're not going to wait, let's dive right in. So for today's Commission Corner, I'm so excited to have two staff members, one from Code Compliance and one from our Economic Development and Housing departments. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Ricardo Collins. I'm the commander with the Miramar Police Department. I oversee the Code Compliance Division.
Hi, and I'm Eva Petitfouet, and I work with the Economic Development and Housing Department.
All right, so today we're going to talk about some of the misconceptions and some of the ways that the City of Miramar is working on bridging the gap between understanding code compliance as well as connecting city resources to our homeowners. So I'm going to start with you, Commander Collins. We have something coming up for the residents of Miramar that's, I think, extremely timely. Can you break us into it?
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. What we have developed, and thank you, Commissioner, for initiating this pamphlet, is we have a do's and don'ts for the City of Miramar residents. We recognize that people move into cities sometimes and they don't get a handbook. They don't get a manual on what to do and what, well, more importantly, what not to do. Mm-hmm. So herein lies a resource that should come in very handy and kind of gives you a guide on not only what does code oversee, be it alarm registration, or if you need to get a lien search done on your home, or you have a Airbnb vacation rental that you want to register. All of that will fall under our purview, and this pamphlet will give you an idea as to how to go about doing that. Quick links into the system on registering, etc. Or if there's a charge, it'll tell you how to do it as well.
So one thing I do know, a lot of residents, code is a very hot topic in the City of Miramar because we have very astute code compliance officers. They will start giving you your notices as soon as your violation is observed. And so one of the biggest things for me was having people understand what is a violation. And this right here, this pamphlet, I can tell you I'm extremely impressed. And it takes a lot to impress me, but I'm very impressed. I want to go into a little bit about what the body of this pamphlet talks about with regards to recognizing what is a violation.
Yes, ma'am. So what we did here was try and illustrate a house that's in compliance and a house that's out of compliance. We have a little game here to keep it engaging, which is for the resident or the user to try and identify what is the problem. So here you'll see, are you allowed to have a commercial vehicle in a residential zone? And the answer might be no. Is this house, the exterior of the house might need some paint or some repairs? It points that out. The roof is in disrepair, or maybe it's stained or dirty and needs to be cleaned. There's a broken fence. There's a tree that might be hat-racked or damaged or dying and might need replacement. There are garbage bins that are visible from street view. All these things fall outside of the code, the municipal code of the City of Miramar. So the purpose of this was just to show, another good one here that people might not know is, if you look on the right side, well, when you do get this pamphlet, you're going to see the house numbers on one house, no house numbers on the other. And we, of course, everything that's here or everything that's in our ordinances is in there for a reason. When the police are looking for your home because you've called in for an emergency, if you don't have the street numbers,
True.
The ambulance might miss your home as well. The mailman will complain to us as well for these numbers. So everything here is for a reason. We are not a punitive organization. We want to work with residents, as we are mainly customer service agents. That's our primary role from start to finish, Commissioner.
Wonderful. So thank you for pointing out some of the things that most people wouldn't even think about. Numbers on the house.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want the ambulance to drive past me when I have an emergency, so definitely numbers. I want to skip over. So we spoke about some of the violations, and I know the city does its best to make sure that we have resources, especially for those most needy residents. Some of these things, like you need to repair your roof or you need to fix paint chips on your house. We have programs for that. Can you tell us?
Most definitely. Thank you, Commissioner CHERASARD. So the Economic Development and Housing Department does have our minor home repair that helps address some of these code violation issues that many of our seniors or residents might face. So we help with like roof, windows, driveways, paint, and additional necessary improvements that the homeowners can reach out for assistance. So we're actually going to be launching our program starting August 11th, where residents can come in to fill out our pre-screening form, and that'll run to October 11th, and they'll be able to. It is done through a lottery, so if they're selected through the lottery, they'll be able to get assistance.
So tell us a little bit more about what would be the ideal person to apply with happy hopes of winning the lottery.
Yeah, so for our minor home repair, it is state and federally funded. So it is an income-based program for those who are interested in applying. They do have to meet certain income guidelines in order to qualify, but we do encourage most seniors. Priority is given to those with special needs. So we do assist those with special needs first. So for those who may not qualify through our income-based program, the city itself has a program where they can apply for a loan to also get these repairs done. So with the loan program, they give up to $10,000 to assist for that.
Wonderful. And this goes without saying, but do you have to be a Miramar resident to qualify?
Of course, you do have to be a City of Miramar resident, as well as making sure your mortgage is in good standing. If you do have a mortgage on the house, just ensuring that this is going to be your home for any assistance that we do provide.
So I'm going to ask you to repeat one more time, where and how does somebody get their name in the pre-screening?
Yes, so starting August 11th, the pre-screening forms are going to be available online on our city website. You'll be able to find it. They'll also be available in person. We have 3 different locations where they can pick up a pre-screening form. So that's here at the City Hall in our Economic Development and Housing Department. They can pick it up at our City Consultant's office, which is located at 6151 Miramar Parkway. And they can also pick it up from the Miramar Multi-Service Complex.
Amazing. So resources available to City of Miramar residents to help you get back into compliance. So one thing I like about bridging this gap is 1, starting with education, 2, providing resources. Now, I want to know, Commander, how have the code compliance officers been trained to understand what programs are available for residents and sharing that with them?
So all of our officers go through rigorous training throughout our city departments. So they will move from landscaping for a couple of days. They'll go to the business tax department. They'll go to the building department. We make sure that before we put them on the road, we have them rounded and knowledgeable of each department and what function that department carries. The next step is this city is bustling. It's growing every day. We're 140,000 strong and seem to be climbing upward. We have to adapt to this growth. So what we use are softwares that we find to assist us to better keep up to speed with what's going on in the city, as well as training. So we train these officers every day. They know where to find each resource. Mainly, one of the main ones that we use would be landscaping for trees, because that's a kind of heavy burden item, ticket item for a homeowner. To remove one of those trees, Australian pine, for example, that's an invasive species tree, can cost you $6,000. That's a lot of money. So what we do is we try and direct them there. We also have a link on this as recommended by our commissioner, and we have put it here, and there is a code, a QR code for you to click on. It gives you the do's and don'ts, and from there you can enter through the city's website and then go to see the resources that are available.
So you mentioned tree trimming. Let's talk about tree cutting and tree trimming. I know that's one of the banes of people's existence when they have those homes with the big roots and it's affecting the foundations and things like that. Some people just go and cut it. Some people ask for help. Tell me about getting this done with help of the city.
And 90% of the people will not know that they can't just cut the tree. And we have to understand that. And we do. Again, it goes back to how you started this thing. Communication is key. So let's say they went ahead and cut down the tree, and they're trying to save their home. You know, the roots might be bursting, the pipes underneath. What we do is we partner with the building department. So we will get with someone structural, get them out there to tell them how far the damage is done, and then two, which is the main one, is what are we going to do about this tree? So the city has arborists here, and they will guide. Well, I might know if this tree is invasive or it's not. Is it a Florida native tree or it's not? But we need to know these things. I think 4 out of our 10 officers have basic tree trimmer licensing. We send them to Broward County schools so that they can understand the nature of the tree. And then the arborists will tell them how we can help. We'll give them a list of vendors, et cetera, and guide them through the process. This happens, I want to say, at least twice a month. We have this issue where we have to go through the arborists, and they're very helpful. That department is sweet people.
Very brilliant people, too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I know I had been a huge proponent of making sure that we offered a substantial amount towards helping people get these trees removed. And at one point, there was a dollar amount that I didn't feel was sufficient for how much it cost to remove the trees.
Yes,
and I'm glad to hear that it seems
it's been increased. Yes, ma'am.
been increased.
That's thanks to you. So we
and
thank you for
it's
that.
increased to how much now? Can we
It's
share?
1,000. It was $750. We have now moved it to $1,000. And even then, you know, whenever we have to get involved, if we need public works to help us, this happens every now and then within the city. We have an issue where we have to physically get up, load up, put on our boots, and head out there. And I can't tell you how many times we've had to do that to help people. Some people are indigent as well as the elderly. So wherever the need is, we fill the gap. You know, we try and bridge the gap because we don't want the onus on that resident, especially the elderly.
And that gap and the elderly and the indigent, I know that's who our main source is when we try to provide resources for Miramar residents. Do seniors, I know you mentioned 3 locations, is there assistance for a senior who comes in and maybe needs to gather documents to qualify or fill out an application? Tell me what somebody finds when they come in to fill out for some of this assistance.
No, most definitely. We do understand our seniors or anybody that might need any, you know, special accommodations and help with filling out the application. Most of our seniors are on fixed income, so the application process may look like for them to submit like their award letters for Social Security, you know, their bank statements and stuff like that, as well as like their mortgage statement showing it's in good standing, just to qualify for like our income-based program to get the assistance itself.
And for anything that's either state-run, federal-run, or city-run, can you give a timeline of how long it would usually take to get a response on their assistance once everything is submitted?
Yeah, so typically it takes like 30 to 90 days to get a response, to go through the application process and get our contractors out to the home to assess the work that needs to be done for our seniors and our residents.
Okay. And I want to tie that back to the timeline for CURE. So I want to hear a little bit about if somebody is getting this assistance and they are in violation, is there a synergy between the 2 departments? They're working on it. It's going to take some time. Is a fee accruing? Do I need to ask for a period of grace? How does that work?
Perfect segue. And the answer is yes. So think about getting cited for a roof repair or a driveway repair that requires a permit. Once that permit has been initiated, we're alerted and we are on pause. Immediately we are on pause. A permit has a lifespan. We're looking at 180 days at max. We have to work with that person and the building department because now it's kind of out of the residents' hands. You know, there are inspections that have to be called in, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, we absolutely respect the time that it's going to take, and we operate accordingly. So if it's a minor violation, a cutting of a lawn would be completely different from a roof repair or a driveway, you know. going through a permit. So absolutely, we do take that into consideration, and we have to work alongside the other departments.
So I want to plug the new flyer that's
ma'am.
coming out, and let's talk about some of the ways we're going to get this flyer into Miramar residents' hands. What's upcoming for disbursement and sharing of this one?
Well, let's start with the fact that this was created out of a meeting with Commissioner CHERASARD, and rightly so, and way overdue in terms of the simplicity of the flyer. When we're going to be issuing this, we have sent this off to print as of yesterday. Once we get that, we're going to start going to the HOA meetings, and we'll be accompanying the commissioner when she goes as well. And we're going to put this in the hands of residents. And we're really targeting new residents, people that don't know. Also, we'll be using all of our social media platforms, of course, through the police department and through marketing to get this out into cyberspace. I think it's called cyberspace. But we want eyes on it and people to learn from it. And it's, like I said, it's very, very interactive. And again, we're very grateful to Commissioner CHERASARD for initiating this particular pamphlet because it's so educational, and we are very proud of it.
And I can tell you, I'm extremely proud that out of a simple conversation, out of concern for residents and their inability to kind of navigate code compliance, that something, like you said, very simple, very straightforward is coming out, and it's going to reach the hands of those who are moving into the city as well as those who are current homeowners in the city. So it's a one-step reference to what we may not know about code in the city of Miramar. So there are some, do you know about these things inside this pamphlet? Can we go through one or two of them?
Sure. So one main one is a lien search request, where homeowners might be looking to get a mortgage or to sell their home and find out that there is a lien somewhere there. Maybe the previous owner had it, or they bought it and the broker didn't do a proper search. Things slip through the cracks on the buyer's end sometimes. We also have 2 realtors on the team. So what the lien search does is provide them with a history of anything, any kind of monetary lien on that folio, home. We provide that. We have one individual on our team that's her task. How much does it cost, you might ask? It costs $100 for that lien search. But I want to educate the listeners as well that that's not a thorough lien. When you do a code lien, you're doing a code lien. You need to do another lien, because suppose you have a water bill issue that has climbed up to $5,000 and you didn't know, and the city has put a lien on your property. That's a separate lien. Or there's a mechanical lien. We also have a general contractor on our team. So if you had a contractor that wasn't paid and he puts a mechanical lien on your home, that's where that would show up. So there's 2 different types of liens. I just want to say that. This one is speaking to the code lien. Any kind of code lien will pop up, and that's her task. We're also the short-term rental registration, as I mentioned earlier. And that's a growing industry, a booming industry across the entire United States. And Miramar is no different. So we know how many there are out there to the number. We know where they are. We know how much they're being rented for. And we need them registered. Why? Again, we're in the police department and things happen. We need to know to call you when one of your guests does something wrong, criminal-wise or code-wise. Because one is more civil and one is criminal. But there's an intercept here because of where we sit in the police department. So we register them, and we need a 24-hour contact on them. That's the purpose of this registration. We also have to ensure that they are with the DBPR, and the state has them registered as well. That's why we do it.
Wonderful. And it's amazing that the city comes from so many angles to maintain people's understanding of why things are the way they are. You just went into the real estate conversation, and I'm going to segue, all these perfect segues today, segue right back into economic development and housing on why it's so critical that people's homes are in a tip-top shape, not just for the beauty of Miramar, but also for resale values, also for pride of community. How important is it that we keep our homes in a good condition and we reach out in case we do need some help maintaining?
I mean, it's very important, just like you stated, not just for resale value. Residents keeping their home, it helps with the affordability in the long run with keeping the maintenance in your home. You know, a lot of times, you know, people purchase the home, but without the maintenance and getting your roof repaired, getting your windows fixed, having your windows fixed helps with your, you know, your electric bill and things of that for it. So at the end, it puts back money in the homeowner's pocket by making sure they maintain their home with necessary improvements.
Correct, because I see, if we go back to the flyer, we see things like even keeping your yard clean, keeping your car parked in the driveway, not on the grass.
Yes, ma'am.
Green grass sells homes.
Yes.
I mean, you don't like brown grass. Keeping your car parked on the grass won't help. It's such a triple-pronged machine when it comes to keeping your home in a decent, respectable shape. And all the city wants is to educate our homeowners on ways to do that and resources that we have in-house to make sure our residents get the help they need to maintain their homes. There's a list of common code violations here, and I want to read a few of them in case some Miramar residents may not be aware. And here they are. I'm going to repeat. No cars on the grass. Cars should be parked on a driveway, not on the lawn. You have to hide your garbage bins. Yes, they are sightly. Keep them in the garage or behind the home, in any event away from the street. No business signs at your home.
No, ma'am.
No business signs at your home. And you have to fix, I mean, this, I would hope this doesn't need repeating, but I will. You have to fix your home if it's broken. And like we kept saying, this is such a very simple, straightforward,
Yes, ma'am.
7th grade language document that you don't have to study the code for the city of Miramar to understand it. However, for those of us who do like technical reading, where can the city code be found should somebody want to read it thoroughly?
Wonderful question. So to get to the city's municipal code, each city uses a different housing site. We use what's called MuniCode. To get to it, you just enter the city's, go on City of Miramar's website. Once you go there, you're going to go to the police department. Once you go to the police department, you're going to click on code compliance, and right there it's going to say to see the city's code, or if you'd like to make a complaint, it's going to ask you that question as well. So you can go in through there and enter if you're noticing something that we didn't see, because you are our eyes and ears out there, every resident, and we appreciate all of them because we can't do it all. The 7 days a week we're not here. You know, you might see something on a Sunday that you want to alert us to. We thank the residents for that, but this is the route to do so, and also the route to see our ordinances. And once you go in Unicode, it's going to ask you what city. You're going to type in Miramar, and boom, you're in. You see all our different ordinances.
Access to information. This is an education campaign. It really is, to show Miramar residents that we are about compliance, not punishment. And that's going to be repeated so many times as we move throughout our residences to share this flyer and share this information. Another misconception is that once you get that notice, you're in trouble. Can you break down the process of this noticing system that we have in code?
So code compliance across Broward County is governed by a statute. It's 162. It guides us. It's plain and straight language. We must afford the potential violator an opportunity to cure. The statute says a reasonable time. Now, what is reasonable is very simple to understand if you're a practical person. For example, things have to go through the mail. So there takes a time, you know. We have to bear that in mind and be conscious that the mailman is going to take about 4 days to get it. So you really can't ask somebody to do something in 7 days when you know they're only going to have it on the 4th. Mm-hmm. If the mailman went out that day and it wasn't pouring rain. So we have to be very conscious of time and affordability, as well as what the person can and can't do. You know, you don't know. You don't know what that person is going through, and we have to try and always be cognizant of that. And that's how we try and impact on our code officers. Our ACM says it all the time. They have discretion. I like when he uses that word, because each officer is assigned a zone, and they're responsible to maintain that zone. But that also carries the weight of getting to know those residents in that zone. So once you get to know them and you build a relationship and a rapport, you're able to know that Miss Mary, she might not be moving around too well. So please don't ask Miss Mary to go and clean the roof, that kind of thing. But that's how code works. Code affords you the amount of time that the officer, based on their knowledge, figures it will take. Again, if we go back to our driveway, we can't ask you to do it in 14 days. We can't ask you to do it in 30. You're going to go through a permitting process. We have to be conscious of that. The magistrate is also conscious of that. But before you get there, when you get that letter, it does not mean you're being fined. That's a big misconception. People get the letter and they start to shit. No, this is just a warning. The statute also says we have to give you an opportunity before we get there. So once you get the letter, just read the letter, and on there there's going to be a number.
Take a deep breath.
Yes, please. And call that person whose name is there. If not, you call the department directly and ask for one of us. And let us hold your hand. We'll walk you right through it, because we're not punitive. All we're seeking is education and compliance, not enforcement. We don't use that word. Compliance.
Amazing. Should somebody ignore, not read, not pay attention to anything that has been received from the Code Compliance Office with regards to a violation, and they get that dreaded letter to go before a magistrate, from there, what's the process like?
So, again, this is a quasi-judicial process. You're not in Broward County Circuit Court. You're going to come here to the city of Miramar amongst your peers. We're all going to sit down and we're going to discuss what's the problem. Because, again, maybe the home is a rental property, or I don't know. Suppose someone has they can't read or something. Anything could be the reason why they didn't respond. Language. We send the mail out in English. Maybe they don't speak it. So anyway, they get here. Once they get to the point of the magistrate, this is their opportunity to be heard. And that doesn't mean that you're mandatorily going to get charged just to be there. You don't. It doesn't always happen. And again, it depends on your circumstances. You go before the magistrate and you explain yourself. He's a human being just like me and you. We can't discuss any case with a magistrate prior to a hearing. That's just criminally not allowed. But they're going to give you a lending ear, and they're going to hear your situation, and they're going to deal with it accordingly. Now, if you are purposely ignoring the city's code, then the magistrate will act accordingly as well. But we do not dictate how we act. We can't. It's his call. It's his hearing. We're just here to present our side, and you're there to present your side.
You mentioned language barriers, and I'm going to ask you, and I'm also going to ask our representative from Economic and Housing Development, what are we doing in terms of acknowledging some of the language differences in our notices? Is there something in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole saying, if you need help translating this document, call this number?
The answer is no. And the last time we faced this was actually COVID. I remember putting out notices on doors, for gatherings and the size, and we'd have to do them in 3 languages, yes. And that's a valid point, Commissioner. We need to bear that in mind and be more conscious of that, because it does happen. We find parents coming with their son or their daughter, to speak for them, Normally we're fortunate that there's someone in that home, but in the case where there isn't, you're right. We should have something in here. Maybe we need to go back.
Maybe one more adjustment.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, or to come, or have variations of it in several languages.
Well said, ma'am.
The English is great. We can adapt.
Yes, ma'am.
As this grows.
Yeah.
For economic development and housing, how do we deal with the language barrier?
Yeah, I can definitely say right now we do have staff that can kind of assist with, Haitian Creole as well as Spanish. And then when we do try to advertise for our programs, we try to advertise through media outlets that, you know, give the material, like Le Floridian for the Haitian Creole, or media outlets that has newsletters and newspapers for residents that may speak another language. But as Commander Collins said, actually having like the documents translated in another language is something we considered as well.
Very good idea.
Absolutely. We are a multinational, multi-ethnic
pot.
city. And so to always be cognizant of getting the education and the information to our residents, it's important that we choose vehicles that they understand. And so moving into the idea of even a little note saying, if you need to translate this in Spanish, or if you need help with this in Creole, call this number at minimum, or call this agency for help. Because yes, agencies play a big part in getting information like this. Train the trainer sometimes. Train them so that they know when people call, here's what the program is asking them to bring, and here's what the code compliance officer is asking them to do. Speak to people in a language or in a manner that they understand. Have advocates for people who are not of the same background as we do. As we wrap up, I want to ask for any final comments from our code compliance commander, as well as economic development and housing.
I just want to say that I'm glad for this opportunity to portray that we're not, you know, we're not punitive, and we're not hard. We're open to help anybody that needs help, because we're here to serve. We're in the service industry. A lot of us are sworn police officers, so we signed up for this. So however we can help, we will help. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity and your vision in that, seeing people look at code compliance as, you know, we cost you, whether it be sweat or money. Whether you're going to mow the lawn and some sweat on a Sunday, or you're going to spend some money and do that driveway. But either way, I just want to make it clear that communication is key and education is key. So please feel free to reach out to us, and however we can help, we're going to help. You know.
And how can somebody reach out to you?
They can call me directly. Our main line is 954-602-4000. That rings. That's the police department. That's the front lobby. 954-602-3184 will be my desk line directly, which will ring to my cell phone. We're available 7 days a week. The co-compliance office is open Monday through Saturday. We do have different hours. We have some officers that will start at 6:30 in the morning, because we have situations where we need them out in the street early, you know, versus others that we want to hear a little bit later. And you can reach us. If you call an officer and they're out in the field, we use a system called Jabber, which is a software, and it rings on their laptops. So we are always within reach.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time today and sharing how code compliance is connecting with City of Miramar residents. Final words?
Yes, I want to thank you again for not only educating the residents on, you know, code compliance issues, but letting them know that the city has resources here to assist. I'm Eva Petitfuer. I'm located in the Economic Development and Housing Department, and we can be reached at 954-602-5328. We do also have our city consultant that helps with our housing programs, and they can also be reached at 954-939-3271.
Wonderful. Thank you both.
Thank you.
What an informative and educational Commission Corner this was today. I do want to thank our guests again, Mrs. Petitfuer and Commander Collins, for joining us today and sharing all things code and City of Miramar resources. I want to remind everyone that Commission Corner can be found at Miramar TV on Comcast 78 and UVerse Channel 99. Until next time, be well, Miramar.